It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the Science Bowl, the science quiz program here in the Prince George's Schools where we test scientific literacy. And we hope you play along with us today and try to match wits with our outstanding students. The first team today hails from Judith P. Hoyer Montessori School. They'll be playing against Kettering Middle School, and we'll have separate questions for each of those teams. 18 questions of equal difficulty from our 6 traditional categories, because as you know, if you've been watching our show, we have changed things because of the pandemic. All of our students are in their schools. We do, though, keep the same traditional categories of green things and zoo parade and Bodyy Systems. Let's get physical, science potpourri, and Dateline science, and a 5, a 15, and a 25-point question in each of those categories. And just for looking as good as they do, we give them 50 points just for showing up. We never deduct points for questions that are missed. So, let's get started here, and let's meet the team from Judith P. Hoyer. Kosi, wave to everybody at home, if you would, please. Kosi is on the program here today, being joined by Daria. Hey, Daria. Wave to all of the audience. Thank you, Daria. And rounding out this fearsome threesome is Demidji. Hey, Demidji. Good to have you on the show. All right, let's get started with the green things category. We have a 5, a 15, and a 25-point question. Here is your 5-point green things question. An aphyllis tree, A-P-H-Y-L-L-O-U-S, an aphyllis tree is one that has none of these essential green things if you're a tree.
What do you guys
think? An aphyllis tree is one that has none of these essential green things if you're a tree.
What do you guys think it is?
I go with Dimension.
For me, I say moss.
Moss? Correct answer is leaves. Leaves, the essential green things. They need leaves in order to produce food and to survive there. Okay, takes a while to get your sea legs here. Get used to having this guy asking you questions. Here's your 15-point question. Not everyone can detect the pungent smell of sulfur in the pee, the urine, of people who eat these A-initial green vegetables that come in units called stalks or spears. Name that vegetable.
Do you guys think
I think it's artichoke.
Do you guys
I hear
think
artichokes. Let's see, we're going to go to Kosi. Is that your team's answer?
Do you guys want to go with the artichokes or asparagus? Because artichokes is this type of fish. We're going to go with asparagus.
Asparagus is the right choice. Absolutely right. Yeah, you eat asparagus and afterwards there's a certain odor if you go into the bathroom. Not everybody, but most people. All right, for 25 points in green things, here is a visual. Look at this picture, Judith P. Hoyer. A xylotomous insect like a termite, which you see here, can cut or bore through a tree's xylem, X-Y-L-E-M, which is another name for the tree's what? A termite can cut or bore through a tree's xylem, X-Y-L-E-M, which is another name for the tree's what? Any ideas out there?
Do you guys think it's roots or?
Roots.
Okay, Darius, say your answer, or Kosi, say your answer again.
We're going to go with roots.
Roots, okay. Well, maybe your parents have had exterminators come out, we all do, and they check for termites, because termites eat through the wood in the house. So the answer here is that we want is wood. Termites eat wood. That's another name for the tree's xylem. Let's go to the zoo for 5 points. There's a new law being debated in England that seeks to protect all sentient beings, meaning animals that can feel pain, including these large crustaceans that turn red when dropped in boiling water.
Do you guys have any ideas? Huh? Lobster. We're gonna go with lobster.
It is lobster, yeah. In fact, if you drive down the road, maybe you've been to a Red Lobster for dinner or lunch, and there's the Red Lobster up there, and people think, oh, they don't feel any pain, but there is some doubt about that. Imagine being dropped into boiling water. Correct answer. Zoo for 15 points. Many of these tasty M-initialed bivalves were literally steamed in their shells during the excessive heat wave that struck the western U.S. this past summer. These M-initialed bivalves, they, in the water, close to shore, were actually cooked because it was so hot out west. Name those M-initialed bivalves.
What do you guys think?
Think mussels.
Muscle.
You got it right. It is mussels. Good answer. Now you're on a roll. Now you're starting to work together here. Zoo for 25 points. Big one in this category. This species of America's largest omnivore, which appears on the California state flag, was hunted to extinction during California's gold rush in 1849. America's largest omnivore on the California state flag, hunted to extinction during the gold rush in California in 1849.
We're going with bear.
Can you be more specific?
A brown bear?
Actually, it's a grizzly bear. It's a California grizzly bear. There are no grizzly bears left in California of that species. Let's go to the Bodyy Systems for 5 points. It is incorrect to say that the masks we've been wearing interfered with our breathing, since the oxygen saturation of our blood, even with a mask on, stays between 95 and 100%. And the saturation of this gas stays at 34 to 45%. What other gas is involved when you're breathing in and out in addition to oxygen?
Do you guys think it's carbon dioxide?
I agree.
It is CO2. Good answer. For 15 points in zoo. Although the Greek goddess Nike is a symbol for sports shoes, she is often shown as being what?
What do you guys think it is? May you please repeat the question?
I certainly can. Although the Greek goddess Nike is a symbol for sports shoes, she is often shown as being what?
We're going to go with fast.
You're going to go with fast?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, she is often shown as being barefooted. She was a great runner, but she never wore shoes back then. So that's the irony of it. So she was barefooted. Remember the category, Bodyy Systems. Here's the 25-point question in Bodyy Systems. Last one before you take your first break. This body organ, described as vermiform, 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 because of its worm-like appearance, has the same name as the extra material found at the end of a textbook.
Can you please repeat the question, please?
Yes, we're looking for the name of a body organ. It's described, the adjective is vermiform, which means worm-like. This body organ is worm-like in appearance, and it has the same name as the extra material found at the end of a textbook.
What do you guys think it is? We're going to go with intestines.
Intestine is a good try. In fact, it's attached to part of the intestine. It's the appendix. Oftentimes, if you look at the back of a book, there's an appendix with some additional bibliography and maybe a glossary of some kind. All right, Judith Hoare, you end the first round here with 90 points. We're going to see you guys again in just a couple of minutes. Keep up your good work, and we'll see you then. It is now time to meet the team from Kettering Middle School. Let's say hello to their captain, Oliver. Hey, Oliver, wave to everybody at home if you would. And he is joined by Aaron. Hey, Aaron.
Hello.
And Peyton. Give a shout out to people at home.
Hi.
All right. These gentlemen here are ready for their questions. So let's get to the green things category, guys. Here's your 5-point questions in green things. The amount of capsaicin in these vegetables determines where they fall on the Scoville scale, and thus how brave your mouth is if you eat them.
Taste? It's spicy.
I think this is.
Yeah, I think pictures taste.
I think it's spicy. I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I think it's taste. Because
What you got, Oliver?
I think it's like spice.
no, it's
Remember, it was a vegetable we were looking for, and that vegetable is peppers, hot peppers, the Scoville scale, and how brave your mouth is. All right, takes a little while to get into this groove of things. Let's go to the green things for 15 points. The word nasty has bad connotations, but nyctonasty is when plants' flowers do this at night to protect themselves.
close or white.
Nyctonasty, a behavior seen in plants' flowers that do this at night to protect themselves. What do they do?
Cover themselves, or cover themselves maybe, like close themselves. Something like that.
What you think?
Get produce.
Produce.
Correct answer here is they close up. The flowers close at night, and that protects them. The only ones that stay open are the ones that want to attract moths because they're active at night as pollinators. Here's a 25-point question. In green things, the winner of this year's National Spelling Bee, correctly spelled Murraya, M-U-R-R-A-Y-A. This first of a plant's two-part scientific name. Murraya is the first part of the plant's scientific name. The second being the species. What is the first part of a scientific name, not just for that plant, but for all living creatures? What precedes species?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. The winner of the National Spelling Bee this year is correctly spelled Murraya, M-U-R-R-A-Y-A, which is the first of a plant's two-part scientific name, the second being the species.
What do you think it is? Like Pre's, I guess Pre or something like Pre. Let's just say Pre. It's like Pre is like the only answer I can think.
The answer here, we human beings are known as Homo sapiens, boa constrictor, Canis familiaris. The first part of a scientific name is called the genus. The second part is the species. Genus is what we were looking for. Let's go to the zoo. Let's go to the zoo. While Isaac Newton said, "Nature does nothing in vain when less will serve," perhaps he never saw one of these birds, the male of which is the height of vanity, with its large, multicolored tail.
Peacock?
Peacock, you got it. 5 points. Way to go, guys. 15 points. Let's look at this picture. Creature you don't want to run into. Well, we humans can sense just the light in the visible spectrum. Some insects see ultraviolet light, And some snakes, like this one, can detect this kind of radiation in the short range of the spectrum.
I believe it's infrared.
It is infrared. Good, you're on a roll. All right, let's go to 25 points in the zoo. This is interesting. Do any of you guys have cats? Anybody have a cat at home?
No.
Okay. It's thought one of the reasons cats purr is that it is a kind of acoustical vibrational therapy to make these ossified body parts stronger when they hunt. The purring is kind of acoustical therapy to make these ossified body parts stronger for when they hunt.
The jaws.
What again?
The jaws.
More widely. Give me a broader answer, please.
The mouth?
The mouth?
The bones, the jaw, bone, all the bones. So, you know, when it's running, it's got strong muscles, but it wants to get its bones stronger too. All right, let's go to the Bodyy Systems for 5 points. Unlike a banana, it is unlikely your hand would freeze solid instantly and then shatter if hit by a hammer if you accidentally dipped your hand into this liquefied gas.
Nitrogen? Yeah, nitrogen.
Nitrogen?
Nitrogen, that's right. All right, all of you are getting good answers from both sides there. Thank you, guys. It is nitrogen. For 15 points, Bodyy Systems. Makers of antiperspirants and deodorants have succeeded in attaching shame to this process. It is one of the best ways for us humans to keep our cool.
Sweating?
Sweating, that's right. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you sweat. Don't let them see you sweat. For 25 points, Bodyy System question. Last one before we take your first break. If someone suffers from stress-induced cardiomyopathy, it can lead to them dying of a broken what?
Can you repeat the question?
I sure can. If someone suffers from stress-induced cardiomyopathy, it can lead to them dying of a broken what?
That's all? Are you talking about blood circulation?
Scott, say it again.
An artery?
Please.
Not an artery. Close though. A broken heart. A broken heart. Stress-induced. Sometimes people say, if someone passes away or something awful happens to you, that you can die of a broken heart. There is some truth to that. So, Kettering, you end the first round with an identical score to Judith P. Hoyer, 90 points. You are tied. We'll see you again in a few moments. Keep up your good work. Keep playing well together, guys. Let's welcome back that team from Judith P. Hoyer Montessori School. Let's find out about our players and about their school. Let's go to the captain, Kosi. Kosi, tell me about your school. It's a Montessori school. For people who don't understand what that is, what is it? How's it different?
It's different because in our school, we try to be the best that we can and represent. And also that in our school, we celebrate diversity by doing Hispanic Heritage Month, Black African American Month, and other different celebrations like Christmas, Halloween. And for me, this is what I love about the school.
I can tell you love the school, and it's a place where I know people want to go because you've got a great coach, Miss Strong, and Miss Tracy Spivey-White, an exceptional principal, has more energy than all of us combined. She's just terrific. Tell me what you might want to do when you get older, Kosi.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. In fact, life is a time of trying to figure out where you can make the most impact and where you find your talents most in need and what you most enjoy. Good luck in the second half. Let's talk to your teammates here. Let's talk to Dimitri now and find out a little bit about this young man here. Why'd you want to be on the Science Bowl?
Because I go to high school next year. I felt like it was going to be a good experience to try something new for once.
Yeah, in fact, your colleague there, Daria, was telling us the same thing. Where will you be in high school?
Still trying to figure that out. But main school I'm trying to go to is Archbishop Carroll High School.
Very nice, very nice. Well, I like what you're doing. Always look for challenges in life. Test yourself. See where what you're good at, what you like. Have you thought about a career yet?
Yes, I want to be a realtor, or I play football right now, so my dream is to make it to the NFL.
Wow. Well, good luck with that. And also, you can do both things. You can be a realtor, you can be a football player, you can be an astronaut, you can do a lot of different things in life. There are different stages. And, if you're a football player, you can't do that your whole life, but you could be a coach, you could be an announcer, you could stay with the sport. Nice to have you here today. Let's go to Daria. Hey, Daria. Nice to have you on the program here today. Tell us a little bit about what your goals are. What do you want to do someday?
I want to work in the dental field.
Very nice.
Dental hygienist. Yes. Or somewhere in the medical field.
I think that's great. And you have a nice manner about you. A lot of people who go to the dentist, they're scared to death. So if you can be kind and calm and good at what you do, which you will be, that'll make all the difference. Thanks for sharing that with us. Let's get back into the game here. It is now time for your last 9 questions. Let's go to the Let's Get Physical category, and here is that 5-point question. All right, you got 90 points. Let's add to it. Here we go. During Richard Branson's flight to space, everybody all over the world saw him go up and down. It was like in just 10 minutes it was over. He and his passengers experienced this familiar force times 3.
We're going to go with gravitational.
Absolutely right. Gravity is the right answer there. For 15 points, we have a visual question for you. Let's have a look. The boots of this Roman god, whose name also appears as a planet, famously sported wings.
We're going to have to go with Mercury.
It is Mercury, absolutely right. Good, 2 for 2. All right, think carefully about this. The exterior of a sphere has what same shape as the lens of your eye. The exterior of a sphere has what same shape as the lens of your eye.
What do you guys think it is? We're going to go with pupil.
Pupil. Actually, remember, this is Let's Get Physical. The shape, since it's curved, is known as convex, as opposed to concave. Those of you that wear glasses know all about concave and convex surfaces. Let's go to Potpourri. Nowadays, many offensive names are being dropped from buildings and streets and athletic teams. Among those offensive names is gypsy, an adjective that describes one of these lepidopterous insects that mostly fly at night and are attracted to flames. A gypsy what?
What do you guys think it is?
I was going to think flies, because flies are attracted to light and fire.
One of these insects, one of these lepidopterous insects that mostly fly at night and are attracted to flames. There is a version of them called the gypsy, and a lot of people want to change that name because it's offensive to gypsies. What you got?
We're going to have to go with moth.
Yeah, the gypsy moth. And they're a big problem around here because they form sometimes those tents up in the trees, and they eat a lot of leaves. They are pests. 15 points in Potpourri. Good answer that was. Parents who are overprotective of their children, hovering over them everywhere they go, are compared to this flying machine, renowned for its ability to hover.
We're gonna have to go with helicopter.
Yeah, they call them helicopter parents. Exactly right. Good. For 25 points in Potpourri. The thought that being exposed to dirt and germs and animals while growing up makes it less likely that you'll develop allergies. That thought is known as the hygiene what? Since it's thought to be true, but has not been proven to be true. A lot of kids, they're around animals, dogs, if they live on a farm, they eat dirt. They've got dirt under their fingernails. The thought is that that makes it less likely that they're going to get allergies when they grow up. That is known as the hygiene what? In the scientific experiment, if you make a guess that you think to be true, you have to prove it. So it's known as the hygiene what?
We're gonna have to go with the hypothesis.
Yep, hygiene hypothesis is correct. Good. Dateline, last 3 questions for you, 5 points. Galileo said that, and I'm quoting here, the book of nature is written in the language of this subject that includes algebra, geometry, and calculus. What subject is that?
We're gonna have to go with math.
That's right, it is mathematics, correct. 15 points in Dateline. Before COVID-19 became a pandemic, a disease affecting the entire world, it was confined to China, making it one of these.
We're gonna, epidemic.
Epidemic, that's right. Okay. And lastly, to determine the age of a paleontological specimen, say a fossilized dinosaur egg, scientists use what method that involves a chemical's half-life?
May you please repeat the question?
To determine the age of a specimen, like a paleontologist might find, maybe a fossilized dinosaur egg, to figure out how old that egg is, they use a method that involves a chemical's half-life. What's that method known as?
What do you guys think it is?
Do they mold it?
That's a tough question. It's called carbon dating. Carbon dating. If you see a lot of those Jurassic Park movies, they often talk about carbon dating to determine the age of fossils. Still a good round for you. So you end the game with 175 points, which is a super job. Will that be enough to win? We'll bring you all back just a few moments. All right, it is now time to talk to the Kettering team before we ask them the last 9 questions in this game. Let's go to the captain, Oliver. And Oliver, tell me about Kettering. What do you like best about that school?
I think the teachers and how kind everyone is one of the best parts about being here.
Wow, and you can't beat that. Unless you have caring, empathetic teachers and principals, it doesn't make for a good school. And you've got Miss Dunn there, Nadise Dunn, and then Miss Molina is your coach, who has done such a nice job here today. Oliver, what do you want to do someday? Have you thought about a career?
Not really, but maybe a hobby that I could do is like writing or being an author.
Yeah. Being able to express yourself orally and in written form will take you just about anywhere you want to go. You're doing a nice job here today. Aaron, nice to have you on the show. Why'd you want to be here with us today? We're glad you chose to.
Well, I wanted to broaden my knowledge, and I'm thinking maybe I could choose a career based on STEM, so this would help me.
Absolutely right. You know, this is our 35th year on the air, and a lot of students who have been on Science Bowl, they've gone on to science careers, and they often look back and say, this is, among other things, it helped to plant the seed about what they wanted to do. So I hope it works for you that way, Aaron. Peyton, how about you? What do you think you want to do someday?
One day I want to be a like sports broadcaster or a football player.
Wow, that's tremendous. Well, you got to take care of your body and your mind there, because if you're going to be a sportscaster, you got to be good with a gift of the gab. You know, some of the best of them, Joe Buck and some of the other ones, it just flows, but that's because of practice. All right, Kettering, it's now time for your questions. Here's your first 5-point question in the Let's Get Physical category. You have 90 points. Let's see if you can up the tally. Of the various phases of the moon, this phase might rightly be called no moon because you can't see it.
I believe it's full moon.
No, not the full moon. It's called the new moon. The new moon is invisible up there. Kind of backwards. For 15 points, and let's get physical. Martin Luther, the German theologian, once said that, "For in the true nature of things, if we rightly consider, every green tree is far more glorious than if it were made of what two metals symbolized AU and AG on the periodic table?" Two metals.
Gold and silver.
You got it. Perfect. You made it look easy. 25 points, and let's get physical. You got a visual. Let's look at the picture. The reason the oceans near the North and South Poles don't freeze solid is that the ice on their surfaces forms a protective layer, if you will, acting as what kind of eye-initialed material like soundproofing.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the reason those oceans near the North and South Pole don't freeze solid is that the ice on the surface forms a protective layer. It will act as what kind of eye-initialed material, like that is used for soundproofing.
Insulator? Insulator? Oh, yes, yes.
An insulator?
It is an insulator, absolutely right. Aaron and Peyton, you guys you're worth your weight in gold. You're doing a nice job there helping out Oliver. Let's move on to Potpourri for 5 points. Meteorologists estimate that 10 billion trillion of these hexagonal shapes have fallen from the sky in Earth's history, and not one of them has been exactly the same.
Snowflakes?
Snowflakes, that's right. You'd think maybe just once, but they're all created and as they come down through the atmosphere, and they all are unique. 15 points, Potpourri, good answer. Einstein once said, "Life is like riding one of these, once called velocipedes. You must keep moving."
Bicycles?
Yeah, life's like a bicycle. Keep moving all the time. Keep riding it till the wheels fall off. For 25 points, Potpourri. Apollo 15 lunar astronaut David Scott famously dropped a hammer and a feather on the moon at the same time. And he noted that they fell at the same rate. It wasn't the lack of gravity that explained that, but rather the absence of this that was responsible.
Inertia?
Not inertia, no. Remember, there's no atmosphere on the moon, so there's no air resistance, which is why they fell at the same rate. Okay, let's go to Dateline for 5 points. Last 3 questions in the game, guys. Shakespeare's fictional King Lear, like many real people in the 1600s, thought these rare celestial events, where one heavenly body blocks the view of another, were evil omens.
Eclipse.
Eclipses.
You got it. Eclipses is right. Excellent. For 15 points, Americans shouldn't turn up their noses at eating insects because bugs contain plenty of protein. They have lots of calcium and iron and very little of this C, as in cat, very little of this C initial kind of fat that can lead to health problems?
Carbohydrate.
Ooh, I thought you were going to say cholesterol. Cholesterol was the kind of fat we were looking for there. Last question of the game is 25 points in Dateline. Back in the 1960s, in the Gombe forest in Tanzania, Jane Goodall began her groundbreaking studies of these primates.
Monkeys.
More specifically.
Oh, chimpanzees.
Chimpanzees is the correct answer. Yes, indeed. Kettering, that means you end the game with 180 points. Will that be enough to win? We'll let you know in just a moment. Nice work, guys. All right, well, it couldn't have been any closer. If you watched, it was back and forth like a tennis match in terms of the number of points. And we are happy to say that everybody here wins today. Nobody loses on Science Bowl because you just saw some of the elite students here in Prince George's County. And I dare say you probably weren't able to keep up with some of them and some of the answers they gave. We are proud of each and every one of them. Our final tally today is Judith P. Hoyer Montessori 175, Kettering Middle School 180. So by 5 points, Kettering, congratulations to Oliver and Aaron and Peyton, and also to Miss Belina, the coach there, who's also joined by an administrator at the school. Let's have a nice round of applause for that Kettering team. They did a terrific job. And Miss Cheryl Strong is here. She is the Uber coach over there at Judith P. Hoyer, and her school is also going to field an elementary school team this year. So let's have a nice round of applause for Kosi, Daria, Demidji, and for Miss Strong and Tracy Spivey White. Listen, I hope you guys had a good time today. This was out of the ordinary. You gave up part of your school day, and I know you practiced to be here. And believe me, it was worth it. And keep challenging yourselves. And I hope to see you on Science Bowl again. And when you get to high school, some of you guys are going to high school, you try out for that It's Academic team. You go to all those competitions you can. Keep testing yourself, because all that's going to work for you, because you never know when something's going to click and you're going to get that epiphany and say, that's what I want to do the rest of my life. Thank you all. I'm Dave Zarin. Thanks for joining us on Science Bowl. Bye-bye.